Today we are beginning the great season of Lent. We're recording this today on Ash Wednesday, and you may or may not be able to see my ashes on my forehead. The Church, in her wisdom, understands that there are different seasons in our life and seasons in the liturgical year, and that because we're human beings, we need to be reminded of what's most important. And so we have what's called penitential seasons. Season of Advent, the season of Lent, or penitential seasons leading up to the celebration of the great feast of Easter. And so we have this time to reflect, and the Church proposes to us that Lent should be kind of like a 6-week retreat, a way to really focus on what's most important in life, and as we go through it, to see what's in our life that's superfluous or peripheral, and to cast them aside. We wear ashes on Ash Wednesday, not just simply to designate who the Catholics are in town, but if you look at the Old Testament, you see the people of Israel, when they wanted to confess their sins and make atonement, they would dress in sackcloth and put ashes on them. And so that's kind of the history of that practice. We put the cross on our forehead to recognize that I recognize that I'm a sinner, and I don't mind confessing it to the world. So, indicating that we take seriously this season of repentance, the season of change. The Church asks us to focus on the disciplines of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving. And sometimes when we think about Lent, we think about essentially the things that we're giving up, and that becomes the whole focus. But in fact, I think if we do that, we're going to miss something, because I think the trifecta, if you will, of prayer, fasting, and almsgiving is a great project to help us really grow in our faith, to grow in our relationship with God. So focusing on our prayer. How am I praying? Am I praying? I've said before, anyone who's serious about being a Christian or a disciple of Christ has to pray every day. And prayer is a relationship. It's a conversation, if you will, with God. So can I pray a little bit more during this season? Can I take a little extra time to pray? Fasting, the Church asks us to look at our lives and see, what can I give up? What can I forego in order to both communicate that I think God is more important than that, and also that when we have the desire for the thing that we've given up, that is supposed to remind us that there's something even greater than that, and that is God himself. And so it's not just simply about giving up, it's about receiving, that we try to make room in our life, to make space, so that space can not just be empty, but be filled with God. I always say that as you decide what it is you're going to fast from, take a few things into account. One, am I going to be able to do this? Is it something that I'm going to be able to achieve? Secondly, that you think, how is this going to affect the people around me? I lived in a community before I was a priest, and one of the brothers there decided he was going to give up coffee for Lent. And after the second day, we gave him a cup of coffee and said, "You're making us all miserable." So as you choose, we're going to fast, and let it be reasonable and proportionate, and a real expression. Almsgiving, of course, is the great opportunity to give to the poor, and a great time to recognize how blessed we are, how wealthy we are, particularly in the West. It's a great time, parents and families, to go through your home and to look and say, well, what do I really need? And is there something that you can give away? An expression that even if I lost everything, that I would still have God. So it's a great opportunity and a great chance to really focus on what's most important in life, focus on what's important, which is our relationship with God. And so I pray, brothers and sisters, that this would be a season of great fruitfulness for you, and that as we go through this season, it would make us ever more prepared to celebrate the great feast of Easter.